to answer your earlier question, I certainly haven't seen anyone go out and flash anywhere with the start. If you look at the weather, look at the radar, unlikely we're going to see much rain start. Both teams out there, risking damage, running around 4 seconds off the pace. Well, we don't do a lot of test days, do we? That's number one, so it's good to get some running. If we get a shower before qualifying in a couple of hours, this could be really valuable in establishing brake markers, establishing what the setup of the car is.
Cars that have been through there. Yeah. There's probably been 10, hasn't there? And the challenge is the harder it is to successfully engage. What tyres everyone's on out there. Pretty much every car that left pit lane for this final run's on a brand new super soft Dunlop tyre, except the 2 Red Bull cars. They went out on a used
leader out of third. Future stars on the grid at a track with an awful lot of history. And Jared Hughes getting the job done from the pole. Gets a lovely start. Brilliantly walking. As they run through the puddles up towards turn 2. We've had cars off the road down here in practice and qualifying. How about in the race? As they slip their way through, watch for the drama. There's banging doors, there's bashing going on, and there's one around and into the fence. But the rest of them seem to be escaping through. And that was a fairly large hit as well for Luke Pink, and that car's got some damage to the front. Hopefully he can get it moving, which means with Lockie Gibbons through the move down there at turn 9, but lost some positions in doing so. So that was an interesting first lap.
Big place to be laid down. Bryce Ford's having a strong weekend, though. He's just come up in the minis, electric.
shootout. First man to run, and across the curb, massive amount of aggression required. Listen for the wheel spin. Already got it up on the curb there a little bit too much. First sector. It's a 26.1. The best we saw was a 25.6 or 7, so it's probably 3 or 4 tenths away from the best number that we've seen. Again, Neil's been talking about the level of aggression required at the end of that back straight. Such an awe-inspiring corner. Famous corner.
A couple of wins and a pole position at this location. He was pretty strong here last year, which is why I've been keeping an eye on him this weekend. Charlie Schwerkolt's Team 18, Irwin Tools, Mark Winterbottom out of the final corner. Last win here was a long time ago, it was 2015. And he gets across the line in a 1 minute 8.1. Hard thing to do, a shootout lap in these conditions at the moment where things cool out. And you've got to make a bit of a guess judgment on what's going on here and there. It was Tony Delberto that we had a shot of in the garage. There's been a change of equity and ownership within that team announced in the past week, but a great news story for both the drivers that have had their contracts extended. Will Davison's rewarded them already today with some great speed. Let's see what Anton can produce here at turn 4. Just kisses the inside of that curb a little bit on the left-hand side of the car, but didn't use anything on the right-hand side. Turn 5 kink is 100% flat, dramatically uphill here, but very, very bumpy into the turn 6 left-hander. And then when we were on board before with Will, he actually got the limiter at the end of the race. How quick he was going. This is a wild ride down the hill. It's very, very fast. The car's hovering around 200 kilometres an hour all the way down there, and then you've got to get it stopped and turned at turn 9. Very easy to lock and brake. Doesn't look too bad so far for Steve Pasquale. In fact, he's up in both sectors relative to caravans. One of the older statesmen in the field now. Back in 2005. En route to his championship, he gets it up on 2 wheels at turn 1 and just wrestles it out the other side. He picked up a championship win in 2010 and a race victory here at this location. He knows the track well. High degree of confidence, but I'll give him 10 out of 10 for the visuals. I'm not sure it'll translate to lap speed, but man of the match for car attitude at turn 1.
Well, he's only lost 0.08 of a second on Anton Di Pasquale after that monster tank slammer. What a great bit of driving. He wouldn't have liked being out there, and he knew it was costing him time, but he gathered it up absolutely superbly. Great experience, great car control.
So down there's where Anton was talking about locking the brake before, so you can see how much effort goes into negotiating that corner, and James Courtney trying to swing it. Okay, thanks, mate. See ya. Yes, mate. See ya. Andre Heimgartner. We'll look forward to seeing the signs underneath the Snowy River Caravan's entry. So this is a great story, great pace, great comeback after a horrific outing at Tailem Bend, and a pressure lap now has to be produced by Heimgartner. It slid a bit for him between turn 3 and 4 there. It just got away slightly in the rear. We'll see whether that telltales on the timing. So he's done a 26 flat. The best we've seen in the sector is a 25.95, so he's right on the money.
He is, and he's been very fast through the course of the weekend. Trying to flow it off the top of the hill here and not get caught too hard with that water on the right-hand side in the braking area for Dandenong Road. Oh, he ran too wide, missed the apex.
Understeered, yeah, so that's just my remark. Think more about the driver's position, the cars to flow through turn 9. They turn in from very wide, they float it over the inside curve and use everything on exit, but if you just mistime it slightly, you'll get a big bag of understeer, and that would have burnt Andre big time there, so he apologised on the radio straight away. Tony Woodward on the radio. Yesterday, Jamie Whincup got in this car and was the fastest man on the overall session in the afternoon, and we know that the Red Bull Apple Racing team have had great strength at this location in the recent past. Now, this has been the bogey spot for him in that earlier session, getting through turn 2 and 3, and you can see all the witness marks in the short cutting between 2 and 3 down there. Everybody's gone mud wrestling.
Yeah, he's been struggling there, but he's come out and done the fastest first sector. It's slightly faster than he's on green tyres, so a little bit of an advantage there versus Heimgartner on a brand new tyre versus a roaded tyre. And that 25.91 is a really nice job. It's the fastest off the back straight also, but he's very wide coming off the top and yellow flag, so that's a curb strike.
Yeah, so he didn't get it turned in. And then when you turn so far to the right and you hit turn 7, which is really just that kink, it makes a much bigger job of then turning to the right to negotiate it, but the curb strike effectively, he's cranky with himself.
Yeah, sorry mate. Follow up and heading this lap, please.
The voice is Martin Short. And Glenn earlier in the day was down there fussing around on earlier in the day. Have a seat family here, so turn 1. A little bit slippery on the exit, but no damage done there. It was all controlled off his foot. Hops neatly over the curbs.
Used tyres for Jack LeBrock. He's been showing some really good pace in recent times, so he's a little bit down on Brock Feeney's first sector because of that used tyre versus new tyre factor.
He had a 10th here last year in the first race, so he's got a little bit of form at this racetrack. And as Mark just pointed out, slightly down, and it's essentially a drag race check in the middle sector, and he's about 2/10 down. Brown gets on with the job. Once he got this young man, he's had a golden touch in the early part of his career. He's got a great personality, he's well liked up and down the pit lane, and he's a fierce little racer. He's already had great success. He's had an Armourer pole, he's had a race victory in Supercar competition. What's it look like when he gets to the first timing intermediate? Well, it looks very good. 25.8 is the best that we've seen. And I spoke to him after the first session yesterday. I said, what's it like? He said, out the truck's pretty good, a couple of little changes, and that's always a good sign. He had that pep in his step. Here's our second reference now. He's coming up to the timing line. What does it look like? How deep does he get in there? Very deep. The answer to the question, 16.3. He's given away a little bit of time in sector 2. Left-hander at 9, a bit of wheel spin on exit.
Only 24 years of age. He's got a great future, this young man.
Bounces you hear on when you've got the earpieces in, then it's not as crisp and clean and clear as you think picking up the voice now. But he's done a fine job. Shane Van Gisbergen was supreme here last year, 2 pole positions and 3 victories. And he was super strong under brakes in turn 1 and mega through turns 2 and 3 last year. Is that going to be the case this weekend? Jams into that throttle on the exit of turn 4 in the fastest first sector that we've seen so far. Let's ride with him up the back straight. He's got a tiny bit of tailwind here. Listening. Just got on the edge of the rim a little. Back 1 gear, slides it over the top of the hill, 200 kilometres an hour, lands the front tyres, gets maximum brake pressure on, release the brake, turn left, second gear, out the other side, fly the car over the top of the curve, and out the other side, not an ounce of longer, an ounce of wheel spin, and this looks very solid. He's gone quicker in sectors 1 and 2 than any other. He's got a little bobble through the final corner, and he has to catch it. Andrew Edwards goes, oh my goodness, their heart rates are up. Is it going to be enough for Van Gisbergen? Yes.
Good job, man. Nice work.
1 minute 7.8, and he just gets there by 0.1 of a second with a little heart murmur in the final complex.
Yeah, I reckon he got that water that you referred to at the start of the set.
Now, is this going to be the telling factor in determining the outcome this afternoon? Will Davison has been fantastic. He and Cam Waters are in a great arm wrestle for the maximum number of poles this year. He's got it on the rev limiter on the run to turn 2. The Shell V-Power Racing entry hops over the curb beautifully, lands nicely, perfectly on line on the approach to turn 4. Kiss the curb, out the other side, stays off the concrete, and he's done a 25.8 mark, was just giving away about a 1/10 of a second to Van Gisbergen in sector 1.
Famous Melbourne racing family, the Davisons, right back to his grandfather. And he's been super fast. In fact, he did the fastest time ever at this venue. He was very wide off 7. He was able to gather it up. He had to get out of the throttle and keep it contained. He's done the fastest sector 2. We heard him on the limiter in the previous run. This is very close. It's within 4 or 5 hundredths of a second of Van Gisbergen. Remember, Shane made the mistake right here. Did he do the same? A little bit, wasn't it?
A little, but just upset him ever so slightly. And there's under investigation message on the timing monitor, car 17, pit exit breach. So he's gone to the top, but is there a question mark over the lap? So 1 minute 7.6 for Will Davison, 0.18 of a second over Shane Van Gisbergen, but is there a deeper story to tell? What does all that mean? I don't know. That is very weird, isn't it? So that was interesting. He was deep at the end of the back straight, wasn't he? And he scrambled through 6 and 7, but got out the other side. Hey, Will, listening in the background. That was a great lap. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was, yeah, a real challenge. The first time I've actually, attempted lap 1 round here. It's such a challenge trying to get any tyre temperature. So, yeah, big thanks to the team. We rode at a set in Q1.
Opposition lap, and you shouldn't take that.
Terrific performance there for Will Davison, who takes pole position number 7 for the season. It means it's his 4th here at Sandown and his 26th career pole. He's obviously the 3 times during his future there. He looks full of confidence in the car, but also within that team, doesn't he?
Absolutely, and the number that he did to get in there, and on road, makes the apex, uses the motocross berm, into the curve to contain the onus here. And this is where he's been absolutely exceptional. Smashes it over that right-hand curve, evades the water. Very and what about this one from James Gordon? Sideways. That was a tank slapper with a great catch. Well done.
On the bottom of the car, he did say that. But he's still here. There is what he's doing that particularly when we now look at full sunshine.
Is that some days you drop down to the first corner and the world the main 3 spots, how good am I? Or the next day that you do it.
We became the team that we are today because of the competitive nature of Triple A and what's required of them. He's very meticulous about building his influence to lead the ship. Triple A would be the same without no.
Ready at Pettis, the undercar
They call me the 24/7 chippy. For me, knowing that whatever job I take on, there's a Bunnings just around the corner. I can nip in and
Upgrade your ride with Pettis Sports Rider Performance Products. For over 70 years, Pettis have supplied Australian car enthusiasts with performance upgrades to enhance.
UAE for the sports holders team coming to 2022. Welcome to the Ralph family. First time, but thanks to all teams running Supercars. Today's race, Will Davison Sublime and Overall qualified for the shootout. And she'll be in as well at a place that they would know so well as race down in the years. And lots of success here over the years as well. And why would you sign Will Davison on again? He's just really fast. 2022 particularly in overall qualifying. Anton Di Pasquale, who was tipped to be the heir apparent Shelby car race. So Will's doing a really good job. His 1 lap speed has been excellent. We turn our attention now before you play the Carrera Cup of Australia, with championship has been rolling to round 6 of 8. Championship fight is absolutely on. Harry Jones, Dylan O'Keefe, David Wall, absolutely nothing in it. And behind them, Aaron Lane, because you got Aaron Love, who's not even doing the whole series, still in this fight. Now, Morris Pro-Am champion is up to 5 rounds, the 5th different championship leader. Change them. I absolutely love watching that Morris Pro-Am fight. That's for the Pro-Am class between those guys. It's supposed to be the game of golf on a weekend, but pretty competitive 18 holes that way. At the end of the day, it's going to be one that goes right down. Job on the second row. Yeah, personal best qualifying performance for he and for Angelo Mazuris, his teammate Exotic on the row behind. Wood pretty happy with 6th in the Tipton car from Elvamba. Christian Pancioni and Harry Jones, the championship leader on the row of the grid. The other big story, David to Sandown, and a championship fight set to continue. Can Dylan O'Keefe close that gap here today? Oh, he's got a ripper start. He's grabbing gears, he's grabbing the lead. In the background as they file through turn 1. 999 burst into wheel spin off the line, and that was all the advantage that Dylan O'Keefe needed. Busy behind Jackson Wall's black objective racing car up the inside of his teammate Christian Pancioni. This is Dimash and Padiachi. Meyer down in 14th position. There's David Wall on the outside, already up 3 spots to 12th. Have a look at this side-by-side action approaching 250, 260 kilometres per hour across the top. Can they slot in? But this treacherous part of the road, it's very difficult to go too wide. It's slippery down here. These cars are twitchy. I think that was Callum Hedge in the Team Porsche New Zealand car, taking the shortcut across the top at 7. Was wheel-to-wheel with David Wall there and had to bail drivers right to avoid an accident, but managed to get the thing stopped. Jeff Emery leads Morris Pro-Am. Aaron Love under fire. Max Vidot with a really good drive out of the final corner and tucked up under the rear wing of that Bob Jane T-Mart's car. Dylan O'Keefe with a massive opening lap of the race, filling up 1 second lead. That's a second lead. Aaron Love on the inside. Further back, and this will be holding the race leader. Race on the left the second. Just got no time place at the moment, Aaron Love. Under massive fire from Vidot. Was a second to start the last lap. It's down to 1.3 seconds. And 1:11.2. Further back, Christian Pancioni. Quickest on the lap. 9. We're going to give it a nudge today on brand new, which was slip fire, which was flying earlier. Yesterday, Aaron Love said he was in the track line. Porsche at Sandown. He's never a couple of one-make Porsche racing. Aaron Love also holds the lap record here, which was set last year, March last year, on the Saturday. 02. Jack Perkins got the retro car celebrating building his young career, doing a fabulous job as well. A track with a lot of history and a grid with a big future. That's the Dunlop Series at Sandown. And once this green flag waves, look at the cold tyres and the pressure here. The Triple A cars sliding. Safety car has been called, and that is because Maxwell car is stuck. Thankfully, we didn't get a repeat of that. Thomas Maxwell get himself out of harm's way. Here's the look at Blake Fardell. And he's not running the suicide doors on the side of his Commodore. Something's happened there. That's a new mod. So haven't seen before. We really need to just roll that one around gently. Don't want to fold that back and do more damage than what has already taken place. He's second at the points as well. Yeah. So good job by everyone here. You can see them actually all head to the inside. So nice job by those 20-odd cars. And then we got down to turn one and everyone sent it in way too deep. Zach Best was the first one and everyone else followed him in. Now some of our Super 3 competitors, Jim Policina and Blake Fardell, were on board here with Ellie Morrow. Oh, Policina goes in too deep, too tight at turn one, lost
Here's the cut mark. Josh, baby.
Look through there.
Yeah, we'll go around the right side now. It's quite something weight-wise. So minimum weight is 1410. That's with no fuel. To everybody there, I thought for sure there was going to be a car spinning between 2 and 3. Well done. We'll have a look again when we do our replays, but that move by Van Gisbergen to the left was extraordinary. He's got margin up the back straight for the first time, Will Davison, and he's bolted. An aggressive move to cover down the inside by Van Gisbergen to make sure that he didn't lose any further ground to any of the other marauders around him. So I think there was more than one other car involved in that push and shove.
Well, he went wide.
Yeah, there was plenty going on. There's a concertina into Dandenong Road into turn 9. More contact there at the final corner. Cam Waters being punched along the try to
to poke down the inside there too shallow though, because it's dirty offline and it tightens up the shape of the corner so much, and invariably the car on the outside starts to crunch down, makes life harder for you. Davison's got half a second and under investigation. No surprise that race control's looking at what happened at turn 9 there, where we saw Brock Feeney pointing in the wrong direction. That's been confirmed by those in Motorsport Australia race control. Replay of the start, and what a great conversion by Will Davison. 600 plus net, he's nicely converted to the road. Not a lot of wheel spin, bolts down, can choose his race line. Here's the wider angle of it. And the car just sat down ideally. He found the perfect bite point, just the right amount of throttle percentage, and the we don't know what the tire's going to be like. Back on screen, he's sitting beautifully in 4th position. Remember, it was a front row start that went nowhere. Momentum and the rhythm up, and what he's been able to do so far is show that. 1.2 seconds now to gap to Van Gisbergen. He's squeezing that ever so slightly. Versus cold times, there goes Nicholas Wiley. Anderson's now in, race leader in. Thomas Randall is in behind. They're forced to react based on there'll be aggro.
The gunshot, the FL.
I mean, just everyone at Shell V-Power Racing. They're our family on board. It's been a big week, so great way to kick off the new era. But yeah, just car was a jet, and just big thank you to the team. Amazing.
Supercars Championship at the Penrite Oil Sandown Super Sprint. In third place for Shell V-Power Racing is Anton Di Pasquale. In second place for Red Bull Ampol Racing, it's Shane Van Gisbergen. From today's winning team, it's Ron Young. And how about this result? And Davison on the podium. Will Davison, first place here today. Presenting today's third place wreath and trophy from Penrite is Lucas Patella, and from Kenworth is Marion Decker. Presenting today's second place trophy and wreath from Penrite is Harry Diamond and Toby Diamond. Presenting today's team's trophy from Kenworth is Marion Decker. And presenting our first place wreath and trophy to our winner from Penrite is Jaya Phillips and Toby Diamond. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your race 24 Penrite Oil Sandown Super Sprint podium. It's time for the celebration.
Well done to the Shell V-Power Racing team. Big result today. Two of their boys up on the podium and a nice fistful of points in the team's championship. And well done Shane Van Gisbergen, who just continues to march along in the points battle, and he's opened it up now to 401 points the margin. It's actually the first time since 1989, according to Aaron Noonan, in a championship race here at Sandown that DJR have had a couple of cars on the podium. So it's been a long time between drinks. And as you heard in the interview before, it's been a very special week for them, with a little change in the ownership structure with that team, and also the re-signing of the drivers. Boost Mobile highlights now. What a gorgeous start it was for Will Davison. Just dropped the clutch, next to no wheel spin, bolted, just sat down in the rear and off it went. He had a margin in hand, placed the car where he wanted to at turn one. And it was a smart play by Van Gisbergen to cover Will Brown into turn one, and that protected him. That was an awkward moment, unfortunately, for Andre Heimgartner. Gone straight into the back of Brock Feeney early in the game at turn 9 and turned him around. We thought there might have been more to the story, but it was actually the lock-up that happened a little earlier at turn 8. Now, there were a couple of awkward rejoin moments. This was one of them where we thought for a moment that it might have been a gigantic moment for Thomas Randall and James Courtney. There's a little bit of confusion just driving the...
It's a massive moment, Jess. You put a couple of things in perspective. He's obviously just being re-signed with the team. It's a place that's, from a family perspective, it's steeped in tradition. Grandfather raced here, his father, his uncle. For Will to win in Melbourne as a family at this location, very, very proud day for Will Davison.
Certainly is. We'll welcome him in to dig a little bit deeper into today's performance. Congratulations. How'd it feel to be up there on the podium this afternoon?
Yeah, it felt amazing. Just, here, Sandown. All the pace in the race. Oh yeah, it's good.
Hey, talk us through it because we were raving about the start. The start was absolutely superb.
Yeah, it was good. My starts are generally good. It's just a couple of the key ones, the key moments this year I haven't quite nailed in the real high grip launches. So here's quite low grip, and generally I was pretty confident after my practice start that as long as I just kept the nerves in check that I'd be all right. So it was actually clutch was good, and once I sort of got off the clutch and I knew I'd sort of launched well, straight away knew I was on, and then it was down to see what pace we got.
But it wasn't just that, Jess, wasn't it? The pace all weekend has just been extraordinary.
Cherishing it and trying to be the best me I can be, so I'm loving that challenge. And race was really nice. We weren't good here last year, we actually weren't, but I was looking at